seashells over most of the shells.
You want to say hi?
Hi. Hello.
In there.
What did?
What's up, peoples? Ah, Nina! LBC.
I did.
Why is it a bit crazy?
I did.
Yes.
We're holding my tongue when I say hi. Holding my tongue.
Ah. What's up, everyone? What's happening? Happy Saturday. Got one. Got a good one today. Well, they're all good. They're all good ones. Got Annie co-hosting, watching Colin's Key, Colin and Devon. Key.
Check it out.
Better check it out.
Or come into your place and I'll eat ya.
Or she'll come into your place and eat ya.
I'll kill ya. I'm just kidding.
I got my man Steve from Wndrr on today.
Just like, I'm just kidding.
You know what I'm saying?
Daddy, I'm just kidding.
Alright, let's get it started. I know you're just kidding, buddy. Just hold on. Head 88, what's happening? Bellows. Uncle Nick, my man. What's happening? Bills? Hey!
Oh, horrible.
How are you, brother? You good? How are you?
I'm good, brother. What a bloody good day to stay at home.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot to text you that one. It's my one rule. When I talk about COVID, man. This,
Hey, what virus?
yeah, this is COVID free. Oh, my man Burns in the house.
Talk about that going on.
Family.
Things, sneakers, fucking clothing.
Yes.
Hip hop, the things that, we can still do in lockdowns.
Yes, that's right, man. That's right. How you been? How's the family going? Good?
They're good, man. We're good. We're good. We're very lucky, Look, it hasn't affected us too much with work, so we're lucky there, man. I feel for people, obviously, who have been hit very hard. And I've got plenty of friends in entertainment, live music, hospitality, who obviously this has had a huge effect on.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. I gotta ask my first question. When you were a kid, before we get started on the clothes and stuff, when you were a kid, primary school, let's say, I always go from around grade 5, grade 6. Yeah, was there a pair of like before you you know what I mean, before you even thought of fashion or anything like that? Was there a pair of runners or basketball boots that you begged you're like, man,
Reebok. I was in a family of 3, and then we got taken once a year to go get some Clark shoes, and we got leather shoes for school, and we got a pair of Aero Sports, which, looking back, they're kind of rad, but, at the time, Aero Sport was kind of trash.
It was like, come on.
And I would have done anything. And a friend of mine from primary school, his parents owned a big Captain Snooze store, and he was an only child, so he got everything. Holidays. He gave me an old pair of his Reebok pumps, and I thought I was kidding. To pump them up for the first time, man, to walk in with your big, beefed out Reeboks. That was the boss.
Crazy. Yeah, I was looking on Facebook once, right? And I got a pair here, and always wanted them, right? And then obviously afford them, And then one day, months ago, I was on Facebook and I seen the actual pump, like the remakes of them, And they were, I think, 40 or something bucks, And I messaged the person, and I go, fuck. I go, really? They're this much? I go, they're men's ones, yeah. And she goes, oh yeah, the husbands, And I go, fuck. I always wanted these. My parents couldn't afford them, and she goes, so did he, but he only wore them 4 times. So he bought them for that, like all this. After all these years, he bought a pair, and then he only wore them 4 times, and now they're selling them. So I finally got them. I wore them, and my dad recognized the shoe. Yeah, my old man recognized the shoe. He goes, "Oh my God, they're those basketball shoes." And I go, "Yeah." And I looked at my mum. I go, "Remember, I wanted them bad." And she started laughing at me. She goes, "Yeah, but as if, you know what I mean?" But that's mad. But for everyone that doesn't know, introduce yourself and what you do. Obviously, Wndrr is your brand, and just a little quick run.
Steve Kirby. I've been in the rag trade for probably 15 years. Back in the day, where did I start? I put it out at home when I was about 16. Ended up living with a mate of mine, Duncan, and Duncan got into screen printing. At the time, that's all I out with smoking Hong Kongs and
Yeah.
fucking rain yards on the weekend. My housemate Duncan was screen printing at a place called Mr. T-Shirts in Hawthorne. And there he met a guy by the name of Michael. Michael left the T-shirt printing business there and started his own screen printing business. And so Duncan went off to work with him. And eventually, pretty quickly, they realised they were printing for Stussy, Mooks, what was called the Hardcore Brand Collective back then. They were doing all the T-shirt printing for them. And they realised they were making about $1 a T-shirt, every T-shirt they printed, you know, by the time all their costs were done and everything. One day they turned around and thought, why the hell don't we start our own clothing label, you know, and we're printing for all these other guys. So they started their own brand called Mickey Six back then, and it was bright fluoro T-shirts, which was all the rage in 2005.
Yeah.
Not too long after that, they needed someone to come into the sales side of things, and they asked me would I be interested in doing it. And yeah, the rest is history. So jumped in with them. We ran Mickey Six for 4 or 5 years. Then we started another brand by the name of Death by Zero. That sort of really popped off. We took that over to the US. We took it to Europe. We got into some of the biggest department stores in London. So Selfridges, Harvey Nichols, ASOS over there. We were, throughout Germany. So we were doing Berlin Fashion Week twice a year, Amsterdam Fashion Week, London Fashion Week.
Would you being the sales guy, were you the one going there pitching?
Sales, but also correcting. So me sort of working with the designers and coming up with all the sort of stories for each range, each collection.
Yeah, that's sick, man. That's crazy.
It all then came crashing down, and it was a bit of a typical rock star story that, you know, there was a lot of drugs, there was a lot of partying, there was a lot of money owed to the tax office. And one day in 2005, I went into work and found out you no longer have a job after 10 plus years. And decided to go out on my own with a business partner, or when I say out on my own, with a business partner, a guy who owned 3 retail stores. And about a week or two after I'd lost my job, I got a knock on my door, and it was someone from WA, a big buyer who owns a chain of stores over there. I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Mate, I came to visit." I said, "Well, you know, I'm no longer in the industry. I'm out of a job." He said, "No, I'm taking you out to dinner." And out at dinner over pizza and everything and a few glasses of wine, he said, "What's your story? Why don't you start your own label? What have you done the last 10 years?" I said, "I don't know. I've been fucking wandering around from country to country, place to place doing it." He said, "Well, tell that story. That's the story people want to hear." And hence I went back to my looked at what was the #1 most played song on my computer from the 10 years I've been there, and the song was The Wndrr by Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Also, going back to my graffiti days and Star Wars, there's that classic sort of song where they introduce Scene in the documentary, and
then
never said girls are, you know, I'm around because I'm a wanderer.
Yeah, mad. That's crazy. Because I was going to ask. That's and then is that because I met you through DJ Flagrant. He's mate, shouts. Oh, he's awesome bloke, and that was on Bucks Night, and I think was that around. That was just before you were going to launch it, because I remember because Flagrant come up to me and he said, "I want to introduce you to my mate. He's good. He's doing a clothes brand."
I think it was after.
Was that after or just before?
I think it was after. So we had launched. We launched in about 2016. So I think Ollie got married in 2017 or something, about 3 years ago. Because I remember at the wedding out in Eltham, I had a 5:30 wake up call the following day to fly to Hong Kong, because that's where we actually, the week where we hooked up with our manufacturers and all the people we produce with over in China to this day. So literally, I had to smoke bomb Ollie's wedding at about 11 o'clock at night, Uber back home, set the alarm clock for 5 a.m. and was on a flight out over to China at about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Crazy. That's crazy. And then like for the people that want to start, you know, a clothing brand, like how, obviously there's a lot into it. Just as first, obviously you got to have the idea and stuff, and you were enough already to have all this years of experience in that business anyway. But like, what was your first step once you got the name down and stuff? Like, what did you do from there? Because obviously, was that through the contact from Perth, or was it?
Look, yeah, he had a chain of stores, so we obviously knew that we'd have some backing there, in that they'd be buying the collection office. Look, trademark, like so many brands I see come out and people launch a brand. The first thing they haven't done is actually even trademark the name, So you search for the name and they don't own it. If you are looking at starting a brand, do 5-10 minutes research online and make sure you can obtain that name and register it. It costs $250 to do it here in Australia. You can do it yourself through a government website, but trademark your brand. Protect that name, because that name is going to be, what the foundation of your business going forward. Look for something different. Too many brands, I think, that launch, they try and replicate what's hot in the market. Like, I want to look like this, I want to look like that. Don't, because there's already that in the market. Try and find something. Say, this is what I want to do. Different. The market always loves something that comes out and represents itself. Is something that's individual. People will jump at that and gravitate towards it. If you just a carbon copy of something else, there's nothing appealing for that.
Yeah,
Nike,
exactly.
Doing it. Sergio Tacchini is already doing that. Bring something different to the table.
Yeah, right. And were you, like, when you started, were you the sole designer of what was coming out? Like, what was the first run of things that you did? Was it just shirts, or like
jumpers, hats? I worked with a graphic designer who sort of trained at the old business. And me and him had been offered a job to go work with another clothing label. Me and him sat there for weeks and put together the first collection, but then he was going to be a business partner. That sort of all fell through pretty quickly. He wanted to gravitate over towards that business. I wanted to do our thing. Yeah. I actually can't use Illustrator or Photoshop. I've worked with create what I can see in my head.
Yeah. So you just like draw it roughly on paper and then give it
ideas down, do rough sketches, and then sit there with a graphic designer and obviously put pen to paper.
Yeah. And is that how did you come up with the symbol? The original back? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the stuff.
Yeah, another designer who I'd worked with by the name of Nick Davies. Shout out to him.
Yeah,
he's killing. Went he's a Brisbane boy, born and bred, and ended up back there. He's worked for Culture Kings, and he's also now at Foot Locker, sort of heading up some graphics on there. So mad respect from the 19-year-old kid I met. He'd be in his mid-20s, right, crushing it. Working with Nike, the biggest guys.
Yeah, that's sick, man. I like it. I remember when Fracture came over to our house once with Julia and Bonnie.
Yeah.
Deb seen his slides, the first run of slides that you made, and they were like, they look tough as, man. Like, I was wrapped that you made slides. Like, what? I go, does he make slides too? And he's like, yeah, man. He goes, by then you're doing everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like with your jackets and stuff like that. Like, is that obviously it comes from your mind? You know what I mean? And then whoever you're working with to draw it up is like, but do you, like I was saying with the symbols and stuff, like when you think of, like, say, one of the jackets that you brought out, did you like sketch like, all right, like I want a collar here like this, I want the zips like this, and then like you'd give it to another designer or graphic designer that you'll use for the actual?
Grown up in streetwear, so I mean, when we were younger, cross-coloured jeans, Stussy, Mossimo, these were, the things that you wanted to wear, and sort of thrown it back to those beginnings, in the 90s.
Flavour.
Some of the collection. I've come into the office today, so obviously a bit more of a backdrop than at home, although not a bad day to stay at home. This is our winter collection. We've got set up over here. We've just finished on the sell of this. So these are pieces which won't be released until early on next year.
That's
this is
sick.
This is delivery for February next year.
That's mad. Did you get the lettering from the Winfield cigarettes?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, there's stuff, a bit of cigarette, sort of packet, old cigarette packaging influence in this, and
yeah,
a bit of racing, so sort of Honda logos.
Yeah.
Honda.
Oh yeah, mad. That's sick.
We're working on some skateboard decks.
Yeah, they look cool, man. The decks, man.
I'll have to send you out 3.
Oh, thank you. Sick. And then the decks. So the decks are gonna be like a full run. You're gonna like
yeah. All different styles.
And what stores for the people that you don't know? I had them written down one day when I.
Edge Clothing, Neverland Store, Urban Wear across Queensland, Live Clothing across WA, Rivalry Streetwear across South Australia, and then Edmonds.
Yeah, you don't have your own store. It's like, so
No.
people come to the office, hey, like, you know, can I get something? It's in Melbourne, it's Culture Kings, isn't it? I think you sell your
Things and Edge Clothing, who are in all major centres, Neverland Store.
Man, all right, let's get on to the sneakers now.
Yeah.
What's your favourite? Like, what would you say if you've got a top 5 of all time ones that you've loved? And it doesn't mean that you've
often these days, but Air Max 90s growing up were what we wore.
Yes.
I think I went into a clothing store a little while back, and the owner looked down at my Air Max 90s and said, "What are you, a drug dealer, Steve?" And from that point, I've sort of got off the 90s. Now I'm about the 270s.
Oh, you like
AD Sports in the last week, but Air Jordans, probably my ones. I've got my hair.
And like in the photo I posted, the second photo where you're standing there like that, what Jordans are they?
Jordan 4s, I think.
Are they?
Yeah.
Your favourite Jordan?
Oh, you still got to go the ones. A classic.
Man, I've seen you in ones a lot as well. Yeah, at Ollie's 40th, I think you had Reeboks on though.
Probably, yeah. Just the plain whites.
What else, man? What else?
That was only 12 months ago, like a week ago. And to think back, you know, how much has changed in this year, you know? Yeah. Restaurant, bar, hanging out with everyone.
Yeah. Where do you get usually your sneakers from? Like, what do you like? Do you have a favorite shop that you go to, or do you just like if you're scrolling through and see a sale, it's just like, or see something it's like
what's these days?
AD Sports.
Yeah.
Man.
Adult Culture Kings. I got a friend, shout out Jarvid, who's put a couple of releases on hold for me at Culture Kings.
Yeah.
Or a bit of Wndrr.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, man. I got to ask you about the. First, I want to say thank you for everything, for your support as well for my show and gifts and but this guy, me and Deb were talking about it. Deb asked him. She goes, "Who is that guy?" And it's like I'm pretty sure he was on the news. Yeah, and then that's why you've got the
so over the years, he was the first guy to do it to me. Ollie posted a photo on my wall about 3 years ago, and there was a guy getting dragged out of Parramatta courts, and he had a Wndrr t-shirt on, and there was all the cops behind him and everything. Ollie's like, good publicity, bro. And it kind of went viral on Facebook, you know, with everyone liking and commenting on it. And then, what was that, about 3 months ago, someone's spotted that on the news in Perth. Apparently he'd gone on a rampage. He's a biker, and there've been, you know, 3 or 4 sort of shootings and incidents and run-ins across Perth over the space of 3-4 days, and then next thing, he's been arrested, and it was all over the news. And he's coming out in a Wndrr t-shirt. And in Australia, obviously, we gravitate towards the Ned Kellys of the world.
So have you been able to get in contact with any of them, like the first guy or this guy?
But I'd love to send Sean one of them. I'd love to send him one.
Yeah, they'll be mad. That'd be sick, man. So so is that, so the collection that you just shown then, have you got a summer one ready as well?
Yeah, summer's literally dropping as we speak. Fashion always works a few months ahead of time. So January, February, March is what you see up on the walls behind me. That's when winter drops. So whilst we're still in actually peak sort of summertime, January, February, stores start flipping over. Generally, I suppose people think by Christmas you've got your summer gear, Boxing Day sales. After that, then you start going into winter. So we've been in full sort of spring mode, even though it's freezing cold here, for the last 6 weeks, launching singlets, t-shirts.
Yeah. But it's, well, you got to get in quick. And like, so when you're making your orders, because everyone's in lockdown, obviously the stores aren't open, so you're still sending orders out to them for the people that are shopping in those states.
Well, I mean, I'm in WA, South Australia, Queensland, it's sort of business as usual. New South Wales is operating under a different COVID normal or whatever they call it. We're not going to mention that word, but for the rest of Australia, it's kind of things are back to normal. And what's been amazing through this is we've seen a groundswell of support back to localised things. It's like going to get a coffee from your local coffee shop. You want to support the small retail around the corner from you. We've definitely seen and felt that throughout the last 6 months, which has been great. So many people getting behind. I've had messages from people I haven't seen since high school saying, look, I jumped on and bought a hoodie because I needed a hoodie to stay at home, but I also wanted to support small business and, give back to people.
Yeah, well, that's been posting, and stuff like that. And then, because you have to, you know what I'm saying? Look, everyone needs to eat, you know what I mean? Struggle. And it's good to see that these brands, like I've seen, like, and dudes from, like, One Line Burn,
Yeah. Shout out.
And clothing and stuff, like, people are showing up to their brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Burn. He was one of the first in Melbourne to really transfer from a graffiti background into a fashion background. And for me, Guy Spencer from CW, Spud at CWL4, he had a brand called Locust Classy, and it was just his tag, Locust Classy, on T-shirts. That was a big inspiration. We all used to rock the Locust Classy gear.
Yeah, mad. Sick. Yeah. So have you got any other sneakers in the office?
No, nothing in here. Prints, the history of Air Max.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And Jordans.
Yeah, man.
What the Jordans that he ever wore on top of all our catalogs. So this is what we've just been selling over the last few sort of weeks. Our winter collection for next year. And that's what's hanging up on the walls behind me. So all that goes to sample. All that goes to sampling. We would have designed that about 2-3 months back. Goes to sampling in China, which takes 4 to 5 weeks. We ship it out here. We shoot the catalog, and then we sort of sell over a 4 to 5 week period. Now we've for winter.
Can people buy? Like, can people get the physical catalog? Because some people like to look through it. Like, or do you just have one for your guys' office?
Yeah, pretty much. Only because not everything from the catalog ends up going into production. There's always probably, if we had 60, 70 pieces in a range, there's probably 10 that the orders are just too soft on, or, that they don't. So the catalog doesn't end up always being what gets released 100%. It's probably 80 to 90%.
Yeah. And then, like, the ones that
winners than you do pick bad ones.
What's that?
Hopefully you pick more winners than you do bad ones, or else you wouldn't be in the business.
Well, you've been picking winners. Obviously, man. That other shirt that you gave me with the stripes, the green and the black, when I first seen you post a photo of it, I was like, it just reminded me of the 90s, man. Hard. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Just like that with the big embroidery, like country road style, you know what I mean? Like, that was like, and then when I opened up the package, that was on top, and I was like pumped that I got one of those, man. Like, they're sick. And the bucket hat, they love bucket hats, man. That's a sick one. I haven't put it out yet. I'm up for this.
Got you really into streetwear.
What's that?
You come from a bit of a soccer hooligan background, don't you?
Oh, yeah, but like when I was young, like breaking, what I mean? Everything, you know. I can wear whatever I want, really. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Breakers, whatever, you know, whatever I could get. A lot of, even when I was skating, a lot of my mates were sponsored.
Yeah.
So in a way, they used to sponsor us. Like my mate Jeff, man, he used to give me globe shoes. I used to give them to my dad.
Yeah.
Like, buy them off him for $10. You know what I mean? Like, and they were just a little bit scuffed, and because he was sponsored, he would get heaps. And then like I'd give them to my dad. And once my dad High Point, and he walked past, I think just when PSC opened there or something, and he seen the globes on the wall, and he goes to my mum, he goes, "Oh, hold on," like that, and he walked in and he freaked out. He goes, "You paid $10 for those?" He goes, "They're like $100 and something in the shop, you know." So my old man was like, felt like wrapped in that. My old man's the crossing in Newport. My old man's been the crossing man on Mason Street for years, you know, and like he used to freak out. Young skaters used to go past him, and then he'd be wearing like Gershon Mosley shoes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I love. And I love tracksuits mostly. You can't go the tracksuits, man. I love tracksuits are the best. Like
I almost actually wore. I got a suede filler tracksuit which I bought in the pandemic. I almost wore that today. I thought, just
send me a photo. I used to have a mad one. Like I remember once, the old filler outlet on Nicholson Street. One of my mates went there, and I think I went to his house for a mix, you know, 2 days later.
Yeah.
And he goes, Cass is coming. He goes, in 20 minutes. He goes, "Oh, I've got a surprise for you," because he knew it was my doll day, right? And he goes, "We're going to the shop, bro." He goes, "I hid something, right?" And he hid it in the store. I don't know how the workers didn't find it when they do their cleanup or whatever. And he hid me like a velour filler tracksuit, an old one, you know, and it was like green with maroon and cream like that. And he goes, "Yeah," he goes, "I hid it for you because I knew your doll was coming," like, you know, and I bought it, man. I was pumped. I thought I was the flyest dude on earth with one of those on, man. Like, it was sick. And then I bought like just these like $20 canvas old school shaped fillers, and I just wore them with those, you know what I mean? And it was just like a complete outfit for like under $1 for a velour track. Like, it was just like, it was the only one there, and it was like $60-$70 or something like that. And I was just like, you don't get that, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, I don't even know if that joint's there anymore, man. But yeah, send me a photo of the filler tracksuit for sure, bro.
I've got me and Flago actually, who introduced us, Nate Flago. I've got one, and I'm in the filler tracksuit, and he's got his Versace dressing gown, both holding up a bottle of Dom Perignon together.
No, he's done well. I love Flago, man. He's grouse, you know.
Salt of the earth.
Oh, he's a good dude, man. He's a good dude. But
So
back to
a Vice article or something, and there was a line in that which I pissed myself that someone was having to go at you like, "What are you wearing Sergio Tacchini for? You don't even play this." And you said something like, "Mate, you're wearing surfy gear. Didn't know there was waves in fucking Aberdeen."
that was all right. Okay. Ollie Fracture was there, I think, right? We're walking. I don't know if you heard me.
Fucking line I heard, man. Like, just to shut up.
Yeah,
I didn't know you surfed in Aberdeen.
Shittest game ever, right? It was boring. It was like Ollie was shattered, right? He goes, "Man, this sucks," right? And I go, "Mate, you come on the wrong day, yeah." Anyway, I was decked out in a Burberry polo. I had a and I had a cap on, right? And I think I had Adidas Dragons on, and just shorts from Kmart, you know what I mean, with my socks pulled up. Anyway, the game was over, and we're walking through the crowd, and then this guy who was from Scotland, he had a Scottish accent. He was with his mates, blind and that, and he looked at me, and he goes, "Oh, you know, I can't do the accent, right?" He goes, "Oh, how was Bali, mate?" And I go, he goes, "How was Bali?" He's looking at my clothes. And I go, "Bali," I go, "I haven't even got a passport." He goes, "Oh," he goes, "Well, did someone buy your Burberry from you?" I go, "No," I go, "You're real." I go, "How's the fucking surf in fucking Glasgow, you fuckhead?" Or something like that. I go, "You're wearing fucking Rip Curl, you dog." Like, do you know what I mean? And even his mate, like, we went to laugh, but didn't. Like, and he just stopped like that, and I shut him down, and that was it. Like, we kept on walking, and everyone just laughed at him, you know what I mean? So it was just like, destroyed him. Like, it was all over, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And, you know, look, surfwear here has become something that's almost a bit what we call backyard bob or dad dag, you know, daggy dad. But they were the pioneers almost in clothing, you know, back in the 70s. And like Rip Curl and Billabong took the world by storm. They ended up becoming big in the US and got conglomerates, you know. So in the sense, pioneers. I mean, you're talking about Globe before. The Hill Brothers hung out at Paran Bowl, you know, every week, and then hung out with all the skaters, dudes we know, and owning a block, you know, the size of the airport in Port Melbourne. Globe's an internationally known brand. They have distribution rights for Stussy, Extra Large, a lot of brands here, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Brother, thank you for coming on the show.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Fucking beautiful. Thanks for telling us your story, man. And fucking you be safe. Blessings to you and your family. And yeah, I'll for every other person, check my stories as well. Every new post that Wndrr site posts up, I always post it on my story. Or go check their website. Or if you're in another state where Wndrr is sold, check those shops' websites. And yeah, be well, my brother. Thank you very much.
Much love to you and the fam, brother.
Much love, brother.
Yeah, man.
Later. All right, how do I do this? All right. Oh, yep, he's on. Oh, okay, here you go. All right, talking about brands, I want to show mad love to my man from All Stations Clothing. All Stations Clothing. And this hasn't even come out yet. So I want to, you know, like I said, man, everyone that shows me love and sends me stuff. This is a new range that they're bringing out. Right, it hasn't come out yet. So I thought he just said it was sending me a jumper. When I opened it up, and he sent me a shirt as well. So here's the front of that, obviously, and it's got the All Stations there. If you can see, I can't. The camera's not doing it justice. And on the back, it's got the whole map, the train map of Melbourne. And if you look, he's actually written it himself. By hand. Sorry, it's a bit blurry. You know what I'm saying? As you can see. So I'll try and show everyone's train line. Everyone's train line. If I haven't shown you train line, I'm sorry. Right? Now, what I love about it too is you got a little patch here on the bottom. Now, these are mad quality, man. Like, as you can see, like just sick symbol. You know what I mean? So thank you very much for that. That is the shirt. Now, this is the beast. I actually wore this last night. This is a beast. As you can see, same on the front. Mad hoodie, mad cuffs. I like the cuffs when they're like that. I like them. You know what I mean? Once again, you got the patch on the front. Now, I don't know when it's coming out, but as soon as he lets me know, as you can see, and there it is again on the back. And the prints, like, the color's good, man. It's good quality print, you know what I'm saying? It's killer. It was my pleasure. No, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for your support. You know what I'm saying? You know, and all these brands, even across the country, you got Vinco, who's going to be coming on the show. One day, All Stations Clothing's going to come on the show. A few people are going to come on, you know, and support the brands. I know everyone wants the mad brands and stuff like that, but you know what I mean? If, like, you know, shout out where you're from, you know what I mean? And then, you know, you support these people, you know, because they're making good clothes too, you know? I mean, look at Wndrr, you know what I mean? He even mentioned Burn as well, like, you know, Burn's been around for over 20 years, you know? Shouts to Flick as well, you know what I mean? And, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good to wear that shit because that shit's cool too. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it doesn't have to be this or that, or, you know what I mean? Like, you're busting your balls, going broke, trying to get a Gucci hat, or not there's anything wrong with that, whatever, you know what I mean? But like, this gear's mad too, you know what I mean? Like, that's death, you know what I'm saying? Sorry for the cliche hip hop word, but I'm 41 years old, so you know I can say it, you know what I mean? But I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that's watching as well, and everyone that watches the replays on IGTV, and people that go on the YouTube as well. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Shouts to everyone. And thank you very much. See you later.